It's precisely 1:15. This is the news on Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. News is edited by Danushka Madhavala and read by Sabrina Zawahir. The headlines. The need of systematic program is stressed to punish the persons who are linked to child abusers. The number of dangerous jobs which cannot include children will be increased to 76 in the future. Vehicle license plates will be delivered to the household through the post. Sri Lanka administered a record number of vaccines yesterday, inoculating over 400,000 jabs. Chairman of the Capital Maharaja Group, R. Rajamahendran, has passed away. Surfing and skateboarding have made their Olympic debuts on day 3 of the Tokyo Games. And in world news, 10 Olympics-related coronavirus cases confirmed. Now the local news in detail. State Minister Sudarshani Fernandez says that a systematic program is needed to punish the persons who are linked to child abusers. She said that the culprits who conduct any wrongdoing with regard to child cruelty or any kind of child abuses must dealt with the law despite the social status of the person involved. The State Minister stressed the need to conduct a productive dialogue to protect the children in the country. The National Child Protection Authority says that more than 4,700 complaints have received regarding the cases against the children. Stern action will be taken against the individuals who are involved in child labour. The number of dangerous jobs which cannot include children will be increased to 76 in the future. Minister Kehelia Rambukwala says that a new mechanism will be inaugurated to deliver vehicle number plates to the households. This initiative will commence under the new program of making the Postal Department a profitable venture. Another program will also be initiated to earn income through the lands belongs to the Postal Department. There is an effective and secured courier services in the private sector. The minister added that his aim is to develop a courier service in the Postal Department as well. The minister was speaking at a ceremony to initiate post offices at the Pradeshia Sabha premises in the country. Director General of Health Services says that another 52 COVID-19 related deaths took place in the country, increasing the total number of deaths in Sri Lanka to 4,054. This is the first time in several weeks that the daily COVID death toll passed 50. Overall, over 650 people have died due to COVID in the last 16 days. Majority of them are over in their 60s, according to the Health Ministry. Meanwhile, 1,737 COVID patients were also identified in Sri Lanka yesterday, increasing the active COVID patients to 24,183. 30 of the patients identified were returnees from abroad. This news is brought to you by Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. Continuing local news, Chairman of the Capital Maharaja Group, R. Rajamahendran, has passed away. R. Rajamahendran, who is fondly known as Kili Maharaja, was receiving treatment at a private hospital in Colombo due to COVID-related illness. He was 79 years old at his demise. In addition to being a key player in the Sri Lankan media space, the Capital Maharaja Group supplies a diverse array of products and services ranging from PVC piping to Ceylon tea. Surfing and skateboarding have made their Olympic debuts on day 3 of the Tokyo Games, and Japan secured its second gold medal. Japan's Ohasi Yuvi won the women's 400-meter individual medley. The silver and bronze medals went to U.S. swimmers. American swimmers took the gold and silver in the men's 400-meter individual medley. Ches Kalesh, who trains with Olympic great Michael Phelps, took the gold. Silver medalist Jay Netherland was born in Japan to a Japanese mother. Japanese tennis superstar Saki Naomi, who was the final torchbearer at the opening ceremony on Friday, took to the court to play China's Zheng Sasai. It is Osaka's first match since she withdrew from the French Open in May after suffering long bouts of depression. Serbian Novak Djokovic faced Hugo Velian of Bolivia yesterday. The world's top-ranked male player won but said it was tough going due to the high humidity and no breeze. He added that the hard court absorbed the heat as temperatures hovered around 33 degrees Celsius. The first surfers to ever compete in the Olympics began the men's and women's heats in Suragasi, Chiba Prefecture, east of Tokyo. Skateboarding officially became an Olympic sport with the start of the men's street heats. Skateboarding has its roots in street culture and has a big impact on art and fashion. The International Olympic Committee hopes its addition will win over younger fans. With that, we end the local news. Next up, it's the main news story.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Sri Lanka's health authorities administered the highest number of COVID-19 vaccines in a single day, with more than 400,000 people inoculated yesterday. According to official figures, more than 300,000 people had been vaccinated against Sinopharm COVID-19 first dose, and more than 35,000 people got the second dose of the jab. In addition, more than 70,000 persons were administered the Moderna vaccines as the first dose. Sri Lanka has so far administered over 5.2 million first doses of the coronavirus vaccines across the country, with the majority having received the Sinopharm vaccines. That was our main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, the loan repayment period has been extended by another 6 months to those affected in tourism industry to the corona pandemic situation. The hotel traders have obtained about 300 million rupees loans, for which the repayment period has been extended to 31st of December this year. That came to you in Watchlight. A bulletin of world news follows. The headlines of the world news. 10 Olympics-related coronavirus cases confirmed. US man who mocked COVID-19 vaccines dies of the virus. Afghanistan curfew imposed as Taliban militants advance. Now the world news in detail. 10 more coronavirus cases linked to the Olympics have been confirmed, including 2 athletes who came from overseas. This brings the total of games-related cases since the beginning of this month to 132. The Tokyo Olympic Organizing Committee issued the results of the latest PCR testing today. A Dutch rower tested positive after competing in a preliminary race. He's one of the 2 athletes in the latest cases. The 10 cases also included games officials from abroad who are staying in the athletes' village and media people. A California man who mocked COVID-19 vaccines on social media has died after a month-long battle with the virus. Stephen Herman, a member of the Hillsong mega church, had been a vocal opponent of vaccines, making a series of jokes about not having the vaccine. Got 99 problems, but a vax ain't one, the 34-year-old tweeted to his 7,000 followers in June. He was treated for pneumonia and COVID-19 in a hospital outside Los Angeles, where he died on Wednesday. In the days leading up to his death, Mr. Harmon documented his fight to stay alive, posting pictures of himself in his hospital bed. In his final tweet on Wednesday, Mr. Harmon said he had decided to go under intubation. Despite his struggle with the virus, Mr. Harmon still said he would reject being jabbed, saying his religious faiths would protect him. The Afghan government imposed a curfew across almost all of the country on Saturday in an attempt to stop the Taliban from invading cities. Aside from the capital Kabul and 2 other provinces, no movement will be allowed between 10 p.m. and 4 a.m. Fighting between the Taliban and Afghan government forces has escalated over the past 2 months as international troops withdrew from the country. The militant group is estimated to have captured up to half of all territory. That ends World News. Prior to concluding, the headlines of the World News once again. 10 Olympics-related coronavirus cases confirmed. US man who mocked COVID-19 vaccines dies of virus. Afghanistan curfew imposed as Taliban militants advance. With that, we conclude the world news. Next up is the development news.
Development News is brought to you by Quality Matters Than Price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
Sri Lanka Land Development Corporation has given a positive start to the government's policy decision on the use of organic fertilizer and has initiated a program to increase the amount of bioorganic compost produced at the Kerawalapitia Solid Waste Management Park from 15 metric tons per day to 50 metric tons per day, according to the Ministry of Urban Development and Housing. On the instructions of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa and under the supervision of State Minister Mohan Priyadarshana de Silva, the Land Development Corporation of Sri Lanka manufactures the biodegradable organic fertilizer, which is produced from solid waste at the landfill of the Kerawalapitia Waste Management Park. That was Development News.
Development News was brought to you by Quality Matters Than Price. So as an engineer, I recommend Melba RB500. It's made with virgin billets using the latest technology. Melba RB500, number one in Sri Lanka. Truly Sri Lankan.
In sports news, the 3-match T20 series between Sri Lanka and India will begin today. The first match of the series will be held today at the R. Premadasa Stadium as a day and night encounter. The match will begin at 8 p.m. India won the one-day series by 2-1. That was sports news. Next up is the business news.
Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply. Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The Commercial Bank of Ceylon has come forward to provide a stimulus for academic research in Sri Lanka via a groundbreaking collaboration with the University of Moratuwa, the country's leading provider of technological higher education. The Commercial Bank has announced it is partnering with the university to offer education loans with preferential interest rates and other benefits to postgraduate research students. The first lending institution in the country is to specifically support research candidates accepted into Moto University's research programs. The bank said it will provide education loans of up to 500,000 rupees with an annual interest rate of 9.5%. The tenure for these loans will be 6 years, including a 3-year grace period. That ends Business News.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money. Contributory deposit of 1,000 rupees from NSB when your child enters grade 1. Open a Hapan Children's Service account for your kid today. Higher interest. Conditions apply.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Sri Lankan Engineering, the aircraft maintenance repair overhaul arm of Sri Lanka's national carrier, has launched the third-party maintenance services at the Mattala Rajapaksa International Airport with its One World Alliance travel companion Qatar Airways. Certification commenced at the MRIA station with an A321 narrow-body aircraft registration A7AID on the 24th of July 2021, strengthening Sri Lankan Engineering's stance as a key provider of maintenance and engineering services, the airline said in a statement. This marks a new beginning for the MRI station as it hopes to move forward and expand its certification services based on customer requirements, Sri Lankan Airlines said. That ends economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act number 42 of 2011.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Finally, it's a look at the weather report. The Met Department warned that due to active southwest monsoon conditions over the Sri Lanka, fairly strong gusty winds up to 40 to 50 kilometers per hour are likely across the island. Thereby, strong gusty winds up to 60 kilometers per hour can be expected in the western slope of Central Hills, northern, north central, northwestern and southern provinces and in Trincomalee districts. The Met Department has urged people who are living in these areas to be vigilant in this regard. That was the weather report.
Weather report was sponsored by
Dialogue, in partnership with the Ministry of Education, introduces Nanasa, a trilingual educational mobile app with video-based lessons for grade 1 to A levels. Now your child can study with ease on your mobile with no subscription fee.
Prior to concluding this bulletin of news, the headlines once again. The need of systematic program is stressed to punish the persons who are linked to child abusers. The number of dangerous jobs which cannot include children will be increased to 76 in the future. Vehicle license plates will be delivered to the household through the post. Sri Lanka administered a record number of vaccines yesterday, inoculating over 400,000 jabs. Chairman of the Capital Maharaja Group, R. Rajamahendran, has passed away. Surfing and skateboarding have made their Olympic debuts on a day 3 of the Tokyo Games. With that, we conclude the news.